Here we come. Here we come. Here we come. We're live. Okay. Sorry I'm late. I had trying to do something for my wife, and as usual, I got screwed. Okay. So, what's up? Huh? You guys are here. What was going on? Let's see if I can find something to talk about, shall we? Big deal is now, I saw quotes from Donald Trump yesterday saying the Strait of Hormuz is open. And then you hear it's not open. And Trump doesn't control it. Iran controls it. And it's collecting money and all this other stuff. And one thing after another. And what happens is I'm thoroughly confused and have no idea what the fuck is going on. And I think the rest of America feels the same way. You know, we're sitting here watching oil prices, reading articles saying that the oil storage facilities are emptying out. There's nothing left, or they're running them down very rapidly, and there's no relief in sight, and nobody knows anything about what's going on. They say inflation's down. I don't know how that's possible with all the shortages that we have. That you just can't get anything. I have no idea what's going on. I don't think anybody else does. I don't think anything can be trusted anymore than in the news cycles anymore, and in these reports that are coming out of Washington that are controlled by the Trump administration. Inflation and things like that. I don't know. I talk to people that are like me, everyday people. They're friends of mine. I worked with them. They're still working their hearts out, and they can't figure out what's going on. Things are much, much more expensive. Guys that own businesses have been forced to raise their prices because the supplies are increased in price. There's claims nobody's got any money. I have no idea what's going on. What's true and what isn't true. I don't know how to find out from down here anyhow. But other than talking to people, when I talk to people, things aren't good. Gasoline's high. This is high. I can't afford this anymore. I can't afford that anymore. I have the same problem down here, but I don't understand. I know what's the cause of my problems. I have no idea what's causing your problems. Let me give you an example of what I think causes the biggest problems in the world. We do. You're working at a job, and all of a sudden, you've been there. Well, what they were doing, they're stopping it now. Is that every a year or so if you were there, you got a raise automatically. All right. Just like your rent goes up every year, you get a raise. All right. Well, the average working person that gets a raise because they are a union that went on strike gets a raise, whatever, it doesn't make any difference. They get a raise, okay? Do you think that the company is going to give that to them out of the kindness of their heart and they're going to accept less profit now? No. They're going to raise prices, whether it's a food producer, a farmer, it doesn't make any difference what it is. They're going to raise their prices because everything starts to cost more. Now, all the wage increases do is balance out what would be considered a major inflation and makes it moderate inflation. All right, people are going around. We said wages haven't gone up enough. If wages go up anymore, you won't be able to afford to buy anything. The average individual, or the what used to be called the middle class, which is now below the poverty line, I think. and it's a conflict of errors. I mean, if you get, I got a cost of living increase one time when I was working for Chrysler, and by the time they got around to when I by the time I got it in my paycheck, it was already gone. Gasoline prices had gone up. The cost of roast beef and cost of steak had gone up. Look what happened. Here's an example of weird economics. Right? Take chicken. Now you talk about egg prices went up. Well, watch. This is what happened to chicken. I think it was McDonald's. I'm going to say McDonald's decided to sell chicken sandwiches. Okay? And all the fast food companies decided to sell chicken sandwiches along with McDonald's. The price of chicken was higher than the price of steak for a while. It might still be, I'm not sure. Which made, to me, the cheapest product out there to produce. And it didn't take as much room or anything else as, there were health standards and whatnot that had to be met and whatnot, but it was relatively an inexpensive food to produce, at least it appeared to be on the surface. And all of a sudden, chicken is one of the most expensive items you can buy in the store. It made no sense to me, I'm not sure how it balances out in the United States now. Chicken is still cheap down here, so there are a lot of chicken restaurants around here. They don't do the same amount of business, so. They use the whole chicken. We have Colonel Sanders uses the whole chicken. Very little of that chicken goes to waste. The same with a company called Brossi, which is similar to it. Its quality is not as good as rotisserie chicken. They're young chickens, and they're eggs are relatively cheap compared to what I've seen in the United States. I pay a peso's at 3,300 per dollar right now, and I pay when I go out buy a dozen. I buy 30 eggs at a time, and I buy them off the truck. Comes around, they're basically whole. So you get 30 eggs for less than 30,000 pesos. Okay, 1 peso is pennies. It's 1,000. It takes 3,000 pesos, 3,500 pesos, or 3,300 pesos to make $1. All right. So if I'm spending 15,000 pesos or 30,000 pesos, no, it's 15,000 pesos for 30 medium eggs the other day. Okay. That's like. Ridiculously low price. It's less than 60 cents. It's ridiculous. But it's expensive because our wages are different. To make the amount of money that you make in the United States. Listen, people work for American companies down here, and they do quite well if they're good at what they're doing. Some of them are almost pyramid type businesses, but they do well down here with an American company. And the reason was one of my friends explained to me yesterday. The benefit package is better. They get more paid vacation. They get sick days. They get hospitalization. I don't know whether it works down here or not, but they give them hospitalization, sick days, good vacation pay, and everything like that. They don't work. In his case, he doesn't work 6 days a week. He works 5 days a week. He doesn't work Saturday and Sunday. The average Colombian works 6 days a week, minimum 6 days a week. And, depending on what you're doing for a living, the job is 12 to 16 hours a day. You own your own business, it's 16 hours a day. From 10 in the morning, if you own your own business, you start at 8 in the morning, you open up at 10, you open up to whatever it is, for a supermarket or whatever, your market or whatever, you open up at 10 o'clock, and you're done at midnight by the time you get home. You do that week. And your employees work 6 days a week. So it's money is a weird thing, and economics is something that will deals with. It's like statistics. You can make it say anything you want it to say, but what you put into it, the numbers that you put into it, will give you the answer that you want. And I'm not an expert at it, but I know a lot of people who are, and it's like it's some of the biggest con in the world. But it's a vicious cycle when it comes to money, because you don't have enough, so you want more, you get more, prices go up because they're not, like I said, corporations aren't going to take a cut in profits. They're going to raise their prices, and then as that makes you start at the bottom, and then just keeps going up, 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 up all the way, and then it falls off to the little guy. And the little guy is the one that pays the price. It seems to be so simple, and it's not. It's so highly complicated that it's difficult. People can explain away everything I said, and I'm sure. And it's just that I'm sorry, but that's exactly what happens. All right. That's with the straightest Hermos in the cost of living. Levitt, this press secretary, she quit. She's leaving the end of August. She's still staying on as a senior advisor. There's all kinds of rumors floating around about her and Trump, but she just had a baby. She just came back from maternity leave, and now she's leaving at the end of this month. And they're saying she's going to be very difficult to replace. Well, it's a thankless job when you work for that smelly piece of crap. She quit because I don't think she wants to take any diseases home with her, And there's only so much Lysol available that you can spray on yourself before you enter your own home, They're calling the White House now Trump's house because he spent close to $1 billion in trying to remodel it, and the grounds and landscaping and everything else in his image, so that it's a luxury mansion for him. I think it should just be completely torn down and rebuilt once he leaves, and that's going to cost a lot of money. And that's, once again, and I think that should come out of his pension. You know what I mean? We'll see what happens. Here's another ridiculous number. The Lakers were sold to a Disney executive, ex-executive Iger, and Josh Kutcher, or whatever it is. That's the last name of. It's the brother of Trump's son-in-law, and the deal is for $12.5 billion to a team that's really good. Been mismanaged. And neither one of these guys are sports guys. They're money guys. So you can expect an increase in prices. You can expect a lot of hoopla and bullshit. But as far as a good team goes, we'll wait and see about that. So anyhow, that's it. My day's been hectic. It's going to get worse. Every day gets a little bit worse now. I don't know whether it's me or what. I can't. I'm really not able to figure things out sometimes, and that bothers me. So anyhow, but I'm here. You're there. I'm doing house cleaning. Like I say, I do house cleaning because I don't have time. You don't do anything, but I don't have enough time. It is unbelievably hot. It was 87 yesterday. I don't know what it is now. Let me see what I can find out what the temperature is now. La 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 la. 80 degrees right now, and it's 11:30 in the morning. So it's going to be a hot day, and you can see it. It's got this. We got this super haze, which is half pollution and half haze. Uh, we've got a president now that's they say is very much like Donald Trump. He doesn't give a shit about anything. We had just got rid of a president that didn't give a shit about anybody. So what's the difference down here? They don't care about anybody. They just go. They don't do a lot, and they don't go. And they go into hiding a lot because down here they shoot you if you fuck up. So. But that's it for me today, folks. I'm sorry if I'm not happy go lucky. I keep looking for happy go lucky news, and there isn't any. But I'm working on a little project that I'll show you maybe the next time I see you tomorrow. I'll be done with it, but we'll wait and see. If my wife doesn't decide to shoot me in the meantime. All right, so that's it. You guys take care of yourselves, and I will see you tomorrow.